Hello and welcome to Playing for Second. My name is Brian, and today I'm going to take a look at Mr. President, the second edition, and we're going to do a bit of an unboxing and just kind of take a look and see what we got in here. Join me at the table. All right, so this is one that was on my radar for years before it actually came out on GMT's P500 system, and I was talking about it. Tim ended up picking it up. I backed out of the P500. Tim absolutely loved it on the channel, and I think it might have even been his top solo game when we did our top 10 solo game list. And yeah, so he's kind of convinced me to go ahead and buy it. Not sure I'm going to like it. Really hoping I am, but I figured, you know what? I'll wait for the second edition once they announce they were going to do that. And I figured I'd pick it up and give it a shot. So this one, again, it is the second edition. I don't think there was a huge amount of changes from the first edition to this one, but this one, it did just recently come out. So there's the back of the box. This is a solo-only game. Well, I'm sorry, 1+ players. So you can play it more than solo, but it's a solo game. A lot of solo games are like that. You can just kind of make the decisions together. 8 to 12 hours, which, hearing Tim talk, that's a little on the short side. But I guess once you know it, and if you play it a decent amount, you could be able to get that time down. So, all right, let's take a look here. This is a larger GMT box. This is, of course, designed by Gene Billingsley, who does a lot of good stuff in this. There we go. Kind of solo GMT community. Uh-oh. Oh, there is your note from your predecessor. That's pretty cool. I'll have to read that later. Spiral bound turn sequence flip book. I do like the spiral bound. Just kind of go through some of this here. Anatomy of a turn. And then, okay. Boy, yeah. That's a lot for a turn. I'm kind of excited and also, worried that I'm not going to like it, but hope I do, because the theme is pretty cool. All right, just gotta go through this here relatively quickly. But it looks like this really, I believe Tim was mentioning too, that the rule overhead isn't too bad, because you really could just use, it must be this book, to just kind of go through the turn and decide what you want to do, and this will help you navigate through that turn. But this is, this is very nice. GMT book actually has color in it. What? Not a huge amount of pictures, but enough till you get to that page. Cool. And then, yeah, there's all the folks involved as well. Very cool. All right, how to play. This is very thin. 7 pages on how to play. All right. That seems like it might be a little deceiving, but I don't know. This is one, I technically did play this one, the first edition. Tim had it out at one point. I went over to his place. It was out. He's like, hey, you just want to, play this? I'm like, well, yeah. So we did it. But it was a couple hours, which was not even a turn. Or a year, I guess. But at the time, he ran everything. So here's the governing manual. Now this is 48. 47 if you don't include the appendix or index, whatever that is back there. Index. Okay. Oops. Yeah. This is kind of more what I expected to see than a 7-page how to play. All right. Man. Lots of chits. Okay. Oh boy. Domestic charts. Alright, this one isn't too bad. Presumably it's just, yeah, charts, and then I assume kind of what the charts do or what you can do with them. This is definitely something I'll be looking on BGG as well to see if maybe anybody has designed their own maybe player aid to condense some of these charts into a couple pages instead of a book. But once you, I guess, learn where everything is, it's probably not too bad. Domestic failure chart, I'm going to go ahead and assume I'm going to be on that one pretty frequently. Domestic terror table, that was fun to say. Give it a try at home. All right. Scandal table. Yeah, we'll definitely use that. Impeachment table, probably going to need that too. The good times. That sounds like, well, good times. Okay. World charts, of course. Makes sense. This one, a little larger. I think 31 pages. Again, probably not going to go through all of this one. It's just charts. Looks like maybe some color coding going on there, which is neat. U.S. loses, U.S. wars only, U.S. ally wins. Okay. Progressing a war, ending a war. Starting a war, of course. I'm going in reverse order, obviously. Civil War, sure. Good to know that's an option. Diplomatic charts. Cool. Oh boy. All right. Ally and rogue states. Goodness. Yeah, different tables for different countries in here. I mean, ally and rogue states, you'd imagine. All right. Just a 12-page one there. We're not done yet, of course. World peer, Russia acts. Okay. 12 pages here as well. Oops. Man, the amount of thought that went into this game is just confounding to me. Like, that's so much stuff. And that's just dealing with Russia. Yeah, not surprisingly, here's a China one. Probably also 12 pages? Yeah, 12 pages. So presumably probably some of the same stuff in here. Just more geared towards China than Russia. But different things that can happen if you don't keep the relationship good with those countries. What else we got? All right, presidential briefing, examples of play and designer notes. Okay, this could be cool. Examples of play are always, I like those. Even if you think you understand how something works, it's nice to make sure that you can watch an example or read an example and understand why things are happening the way they are. So that's cool. This is a lot of words. A lot less pictures for an example of play than I would have thought. All right. There's a war example. Counter manifest. Oh boy. My shelf of shame / games I want to get to. Here's the cooperative play that you can do as well. Very small section of this. Most likely just says, yeah, make the decisions together. Or like one person maybe can act as the vice president. I don't know. But yeah, I was saying I have a lot of games currently that are going to take some commitment to learn. This one, obviously. Fields of Fire is another one that I'm hoping to get to play and record at some point. Tim also has that one. Combat Eastern Front I just got. I did an unboxing for that last week. Depending on when I edit this and get it up, potentially last week. So that one, I think, of those three is the easiest one to learn. So that may be the first one that I learned. I'm sorry, this is scenarios. So let's see. Looks like that's just telling you a little bit about all the scenarios. Here we go. Core scenarios, sandbox. Was there a... oh, here we go. Looks like 7 scenarios, including, I mean, scenario 6 is just 2020. The core scenario is the, I think, everything. I don't know. But, yeah, I guess you don't have to play through all 4 years if you don't want to. Or however many years it is, I guess. Oh, for a normal game, for a harder game. I do know that was one of the things. Now, Tim, if you're not familiar with us or our channel, Tim is notoriously, his brain just works different. He sees things that we don't see ever, or sometimes just a lot earlier than we do. So there is something in here to make it more of a harder game, because that was one of the things Tim was saying is the first couple times he played it, he didn't have any issues winning. Now, I don't think he played the hardest setting, but I know the one, I think he won after the first year. There's a couple instant win conditions, and I know he was hitting those. So he was excited to dive back in at harder difficulties. So with the second edition, he got the upgrade kit for it. There might be some more difficult things going on, which will be good for him. I probably won't touch those for quite some time. All right, scenario 1, 2001 to 2004. So, oh, okay, yeah, it just tells you you're starting, where your tracks are. I'm assuming it's thematic to 2001, 2004. Not that a huge amount has changed with a lot of our foreign friends, I guess we'll say. I don't know, since 2004. Okay. So yeah, decent amount of scenarios in here, which is cool. Hopefully they have one they recommend for your first scenario. If not, I'll just ask Tim which one he recommends for my first scenario when I get to it. Neat. All right, all right. All right, looks like we've got some player aids here. Master actions, presidential. Some more of those. I'm gonna have to bust out my corner rounder for this as well as combat. All right, military master actions. Looks like there's 7 of those. Well, 7 main ones, I'm not sure. There's more. Diplomatic master actions. 9 of those. It's one of the things I think Tim was saying. There's something like 30 some actions that you can do, and you can kind of, do whatever you want. You're the president, right? Just do whatever you want. Works out for everybody involved. Domestic master actions. 10 of those. Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. World opinion of the U.S. -1. Terror group, civil wars, tension counters. This might just hold counters. This looks like a war map. Just keeping track of up to 5 different wars at the same time. Makes you wonder if that's going to be enough, huh? All right, here we go. Oh, these are pre-rounded. That is fantastic. I can't remember the last game I got for GMT. Might have been a Space Empires expansion, and I don't remember if they were pre-rounded. But these are, which is fantastic. So this is second edition. This is front 6 of 6. So this is just your, obviously not enough for a full page. I'm not sure if this is, and again, I don't really know anything about first edition to be able to tell you what's different between first and second edition. So there's a chance some of these things are different. So if you have the first edition and you're seeing some stuff that you don't have, well, that would be in your upgrade kit if you decided to get the second edition upgrade kit. All right, so it does look like, yeah, 5 full counter sheets, and then that little mini guy. So let's see what we got here. Military footprint, UN goodwill. There's some war markers, obviously just some counters for something. I mean, counting, obviously. Check the back there. Neat. What are these? They say very close. It must be like a relationship thing. Estranged. And the back says very close. Interesting. It's kind of fun looking at these things and guessing what they do. Have really no real idea other than theme. All right, there's some terror groups. 1s, 3s, presumably 2s and 4s on the back. Yep. Let's see. Oh, these have people's names on them. I'm not an overly political person, so if these are real people, I am not recognizing any of those names. Yeah. So, I mean, they could be made up. They could be real people. I don't know. But a couple of them say media. Okay, there's some rogue state markers. Here's some China. It just looks like influence markers. Oh, and the back are Russia influence markers. Makes sense. Cool. Cool. But yeah, I love the fact that they're already pre-rounded. That is fantastic. Save a lot of time and probably a hand cramp from using my little Oregon laminator thing, whatever it's called. All right. Oh, there's some scandal markers. Looks like 5 different people can get into a scandal, including yourself, your vice president, chief of staff, secretary of defense, and secretary of state. Cool. Different crisis markers, trade agreements, trending anti-U.S. Yeah, pro-U.S. is on the back. Different things too. Neat. Oh, there's some tension markers. I think that's what that one placard was for the tensions. So are those, oh, there's numbers on the back. No effect. Okay, that must be a chit poll. If there's no effect, +1s, +2s. Maybe. Again, I'm guessing. From what little I did play this with Tim, I don't really remember a lot of what was going on. He was kind of just running everything, and I was just kind of there to check it out. So, and there was a lot going on. Some different army units. There's counters for 5 wars. Some bills, looks like. Weapons of mass destruction acquired. I assume that's the context of what they're doing WMDs for here. All right. Cool. We got here an awful lot of Civil War markers. I mean, I guess it's not necessarily a U.S. Civil War. It can be Civil War in other places. Unstable state. Conflict status. Neat. Economy improving markers, which presumably on the back is worsening economy. It all checks out, folks. Cool. All right. Here we go. This is one of the boards, I believe. I think there are at least 2. And that's not including the little placards we saw that you probably set to the side somewhere as well. So I have the camera zoomed in pretty well. So that we can see all the chits and everything. So I'll try to kind of just start this here and we'll just move up like so. So you can see the whole thing. But yeah, I believe that is half your board, a third of your board. I don't know. We're going to see. I did see somebody on BGG did a high-res picture. I don't know if it was of this board necessarily, but basically it was to make a playmat out of it, which might be something I'll look into if it makes it a smaller footprint on the table. Because I would like to record this at some point once I know it. Tim, I've been trying to get Tim to record. Oh boy, this is a large one. I've been trying to get Tim to record a solo play. But for some reason, he doesn't want to do that. He keeps saying that him, myself, and Josh, the 3 people who are on the channel most regularly here, should also do it with him. Josh has no interest in that. And I don't know if people want to watch 3 people play a solo game. Holy crap, this board's big. So yeah, give me a second here and we'll try to pan across on the camera. All right, I'm gonna do just real quick for the, this is how big the board is for the front facing camera. I realized that was the back of it, but, and then for the top down, we'll just kind of go across here. So top left there, just kind of looking at it, looks like you have your cabinet is going to be up there. There's some tension markers, Bottom left, there's your turn sequence, which that is an awful lot of a turn sequence. And then as you go across, looks like this is going to be your relationship with the rest of the world, or at least the rest of the world that has its kind of own section here. So the U.S., Central America, South America, Africa, Middle East, Eurozone, Eastern Europe, Central/South Asia. I don't know, I think I showed Africa there on the bottom. Russia, Chinese influence has their own little chart here on the bottom, table on the bottom. Asia Pacific, there's China, Russia, all that stuff. Russia, China holding box. So, and then along the bottom are your, I'm not going to refold out the whole thing. We'll just do this. Along the bottom, you've got your other charts here. I think this is for like public opinion. And I think I saw legacy points. I guess I probably should just reopen it. Presidential prestige track and public approval. So here's your presidential prestige. Your public approval's along the bottom. And then legacy points are right here. And it looks like, depending on where your public approval is, you're getting plus or minus LP, which I assume are legacy points. And again, I assume you use those for something. That is probably a currency or an indicator of something. Again, haven't played the game, so I don't know. But yeah, that is cool and large. So I have a pretty large table, so it'll definitely fit on here. In terms of recording it, I don't know how I'm going to do that. If I'm going to do that, we'll have to wait and see. One, if I like it. I don't want to sit here and record something for a very long time if I don't like it. I'll just have to try to convince Tim to do it. Looks like you get a D10 and a D6 for the purposes of rolling, I imagine. That's usually what dice are for, yeah. And let's see, we have some cards here. And I believe that's it. Just double check. They usually don't hide anything underneath here, I don't think. I'm not sure GMT has ever hidden anything underneath here, but you never know. Might be a nuclear codes or something down there. All right. Let's see here. Looks like are they all events? Looks like they are, but they are different types of events. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. It's a decent amount of cards, which is good. I don't want to, see the same events and things like that every time I'm playing a game that's going to take me days to play. All right, so very cool. They all have just Mr. President on the back, which is pretty cool. And then the front, not going to lead through every single one of them. I'm just going to kind of take a look and see what we have here. So it does appear they are numbered. And there are different colors to those numbers. I'm not sure if that means anything. But we do have here, all right, your White House Chief of Staff is amazing. So that's cool. Exceptional White House resources are what these are called. Secretary of Treasury also. I wonder if these are just kind of bonuses, almost like a Robinson Crusoe, using characters like, if you use Friday or if you're using the dog, things like that. If you're familiar with Robinson Crusoe, it's a fun one if you're not. Talented and beloved First Lady, of course. Outstanding Homeland Security Chief. There we go. So those appear to be, again, exceptional White House resources. Then you get into natural disasters. So flooding, tornadoes, earthquakes, Mississippi floods, hurricane, wildfires. So that's interesting. Cool. Terrorism events, of course. So this one, previously unknown terror group bombs the Eiffel Tower, thousands dead or injured. So I assume you'll do some stuff on here. It looks like there's some die rolls using that D6, presumably, or maybe the D10. 6 or higher here, 5 or higher here. So probably the D6 on the top one, the bottom one, who knows, with modifiers. Hijack attempt linked to foreign terror call. Terrorist truck bomb attacks Israeli embassy in D.C. So, yeah, these appear to be events of terrorism. So, very well named cards, terrorism events. Cool. Don't want to read through all those because, again, I don't think I'm going to read through them. I'm going to put them in wherever they need to be and kind of be surprised by it because that's, part of the fun, right? With all the cards, not just terrorism. I'm not saying terrorism's fun. I'm going to stop talking. That's a good point, Brian. All right, cascading events. So cyber attack, China blamed, instability, civil war, rogue state. That amazing DARPA. Police shootings ignite nationwide protest and divide parties. So, yeah, different events. Now the cascading part, obviously I know what the word cascading means, but in terms of in-game terms, I'm not sure what we're looking at there. But so that's your first deck of event cards that ended with 45. So 45 cards in there. One of these presumably is 46. Yep. So yeah, this looks to be more cascading events. Take a look at these. Cool, cool, cool. How many more? Oh wow. Okay. A lot more cascading events here. So yeah, again, looks like there's just kind of an order of operations. Japan clashes with China over disputed islands. Oh, there's the D10 symbol. So roll a D10. That's cool. Good iconography for that. So I'm just starting to dive into war games myself. It's something that's intrigued me for a long time, but I haven't really played too many other than a couple DVG ones that are kind of entry level, Undaunted, things like that. And I'm not sure, again, certain war gamers might not consider this a war game. Maybe it's not a war game, but it's designed by a war game company, so there's a lot of war game aspects to it. And one of the things I'm learning in most every other game I play, if you roll a D10 and get a 0, that's a 10. And in some war games, if you roll a D10 and you get a 0, that's a 0. So I'll be interested to see, kind of have to read the rules. I think, for instance, in combat, a 0 is a 0. So you have to read the rules. And definitely something you need to remember from game to game, because obviously if you're trying to roll an 8 or higher, you need to know what a 0 is. All right. Drought in Africa creates famine, a refugee crisis. Your party fundraising practices under scrutiny. Well, yeah, that checks out. It should just be always in play. All right, these appear to be, these just say event, which might be, this might be the rest of the cards. So these are other, probably going to be drawn a lot more frequently than these other types of events that we've seen. +1 domestic crisis on some of these, Fed to raise interest rates. Social Security insolvency debate rages. Yeah. Again, I don't really like politics so much. I don't know why I think I'm going to like this game, but it just seems neat. The concept of it seems pretty awesome. Congress approves emergency humanitarian aid. -1 regional crisis in 2 regions of your choice. Okay, cool. So yeah, some of these have a book on them and charts on them and outcomes on them. And other ones just say, increase the thing once. So yeah, that's fun. +2 public approval, +1 relations with Congress, move bipartisan cooperation, 1 box right. Then roll a d10. There you go. A 0 must be a 10 because it says 7 to 10. Randomly remove 1 congressional opponent. Your 9/11 anniversary speech spurs an outpouring of patriotism and cooperation. Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right. These back on top for the time being. Like I said, the next pack of cards here. So that was 90 cards, and there are 2 more decks left. So 180 cards in the game is a fair guess. These are more just standard, I'm just going to call them blue events because that's the color of the word. And I'm just going to call them standard events because they don't have something special above them or anything like that. So floodwaters ravaged Nicaraguan capital. Different things like that. Coup in Egypt. Dollar fluctuates. Yeah, I mean, just a bunch of events, things that can happen during your presidency. And here's one, just NGOs unite to combat crisis. -1 regional crisis in any 2 world regions. So very easy one to do there. Some of these it looks like they might take, a few minutes to solve or resolve, not solve, but resolve. And this one doesn't look like it should take too long. But yeah, some of them certainly do. But pretty cool. Not, I mean, the graphic design out there's just, I'm not sure if you can see it, little American flag in the background. And then off to the left here is seemingly some type of thematic picture. Very small thematic picture, but a thematic picture nonetheless. So what's the last one here? There we go. Cool. So yeah, 135 through those. I've got some sleeving to do because I imagine these will be shuffled at least before your first play. All right, are we all, yep, all events. So we're going to 180 total cards, most of which are these blue events. Oh, this has the same picture on it. Oh, it's the same card. Different numbers, so I don't think that's a mistake. I think it's just two of the same event. Bureaucratic incompetence. Yeah, this should probably be a lot more than two of those. Okay. Cool. Heightened tensions in conflict zones. So yeah, a couple copies of that one. Looks like. White House media team takes web by storm. Okay. Oh boy. Playing this game might just make me angry, actually. Growing into the office. Yeah, a bunch of different stuff. Oh, world economic downturn and world economy is booming. Technological breakthrough, U.S. innovation sparks new industries and a new wave of prosperity. I'm not sure how many of these you're going to be drawing in your typical scenario, but there are a decent amount of them. But if this is something you're drawing, 10 of them around or something like that, you'll see a lot of those after our first few games, probably. There are a decent amount, though. That's the nice thing about that. It's not just 40 cards and you're using 30 of them every game. But yeah. That is Mr. President. The American Presidency 2001 to 2020, second edition. Again, from GMT Games and Gene Billingsley. So that's going to do it for me. As I mentioned, I am hoping to learn this one. It's probably not the next one on my list. I have a couple other ones that are kind of on top of that right now. Tim already knows it, though, so if I can convince Tim maybe to record this might be something you see on the channel at some point here in the future. Not coming up soon future, but hopefully not too distant future. But yeah, so that has been Mr. President Unboxing. I'm Brian, again with Playing for Second. Thanks for joining me.